Soaring food costs and a potential global crisis. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of Heise Says. Grab your stein of coffee. We're going to have a look at some issues surrounding food, potential soaring costs and a global crisis. Now this has come from the Food and Agricultural Organization of the UN. And before we go through this article, let's just look at some of the highlights from their outlook. So, against the backdrop of fast expanding trade and a surge in food import bills, which have come to characterize much of the developments shaping global food markets in 2021, the early forecasts for 21-22 point to resilient food trade and a continuation of strong international prices amidst many supply and demand uncertainties. So wheat. Global wheat supplies in the second season of 21-22 are expected to increase further, given large carryover stocks and the forecast record production in 2021. However, demand is also expected to remain strong, thus keeping international prices firm. Coarse grains. Despite a record 2021 global production, as currently expected, coarse grain stocks are forecast to fall below opening levels for the fourth consecutive season. Robust demand and tight supplies are expected to sustain elevated international price levels. Rice. Early prospects for 21-22 point to global rice production and utilization reaching new peaks. While stocks remain ample, international trade is forecast to expand in 2021, although smaller Asian imports may stall trade growth in 22. Meat. World meat output in 21 is forecast to expand despite the many challenges facing meat value chains. Global meat trade is seen heading towards a stagnation, with higher trade in bovine and poultry meats offsetting a contraction in trade of pig and ovine meat. Sugar. World production of sugar in 2021 is forecast to decline for the third consecutive year. Well, that's fantastic news. Cheers to that. I know there are a lot of people, well, I feel sorry for the sugar farmers, but sugar is poison, guys. It really is. So, for the third consecutive year and fall short of global consumption, world trade in sugar is forecast to contract slightly because of reduced availability of key exporters. Oil crops. A tight market outlook for oil seeds and derived products is expected for 2021, with resumed growth in production foreseen insufficient to satisfy world demand. Tentative forecasts for 21-22 suggest a slight improvement in the global supply-demand picture, including moderate stock replenishments. Dairy. Global milk production in 21 is forecast to increase at a steady pace, despite the likely dampening effects of COVID-19 pandemic on output in some key producing countries. Global trade in milk products is foreseen to rise in 2021, with a higher import concentration in Asia. And fisheries. With gradual economic recovery under the way, the global fish industry is preparing for the return of food production demands, or food service demand. Retail market gains and stricter sanitary procedures are among the main changes forced by the pandemic and expect to persist in the long term. And here's a special feature: surging trade, record import bills, and rising food prices, how the international food system will keep a lid on the GFC, or the GHC, sorry. Well, here's the thing. Rising trade, import bills, shipping costs are just going through the roof. We've been following this on my other channel, just how expensive shipping is getting all around the world. So let's have a look now and jump and go through this article from Zero Hedge. Food prices are absolutely outrageous now, but they appear only to be moving higher as the year progresses, according to a new Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations report. Global food import costs are estimated to jump in 2021 to a record due to increased commodity and shipping costs. FAO's Food Outlook report, published Thursday, estimates the global food import bill, including shipping-related costs this year, will be around $1.72 trillion, a 12% rise from its previous high of $1.53 in 2020. For readers who are not familiar with the Food Outlook report, it's a biannual report that offers a detailed assessment of market supply and demand trends for cereals, vegetable oils, sugar, meat, dairy, and fish. It also dives into the futures market and logistical costs of transporting food. Last week, the FAO released its monthly food price index, hitting a 10-year high in May, reflecting sharp gains for cereals, vegetable oils, and sugars, all things I don't eat or try to avoid to eat. You can see here. The FAO said a separate index of food import values, including freight costs, that have also soared, reached a record in March this year, surpassing levels seen during previous food price spikes in 06, 08, and 10-12, Reuters said. China's imports of agricultural demand have surged since the virus pandemic, as Beijing's attempts to rebuild its pig industry decimated from disease a few years back. FAO concludes rising food imports as a share of all imports can be an early warning indicator for potential crises in some areas. Back in December, SocGen's market skeptic Albert Edwards shared his thoughts on why he started to panic about soaring food prices. And since that was before food prices began to rocket amid broken supply chains, trillions in fiscal stimulus, and exploding commodity costs, we can only imagine the situation is much worse today for emerging market economies. Dr. Jim Reed reminds us that emerging markets are more vulnerable to this trend since their consumers spend a far greater share of their income on food than those in the developed world. FAO's Food Outlook report is more evidence that Fed officials' transitory narrative is just malarkey. So we're seeing, inflation manifest in food. And that is one of the most dangerous things. What is it? 3 meals? Or 3 days of no eating to spark revolution, everyone? Wasn't that what set off the Arab Spring? We'll have to see what happens. This could yet be a very eventful year, sadly. So what are the solutions? Well, become a prepper, guys. I'm half saying that joking. Do you have enough food and supplies to last you through extended shortages or for emergencies? What do you have? Do you have power generation backups? Do you have contingencies in place? It may be time just to consider taking a few steps. What do you think? Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments down below. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Aussie Broadband. You can buy merch from Heise Says, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.